For most of the years I ran my firm, I walked into the office every morning and I did exactly the same thing. I reacted. I reacted to whatever presented itself in front of me, to whatever came to my face, to whatever I heard, to the call that came in overnight, to the partner standing at my door, to the associate who needed a question answered, to the email that someone else decided was urgent. I handled all of it. And I told myself that was the job. The day would go on like that, and then I'd look up and, wow, it was 7 o'clock at night. I had been there for 10 hours. And if you stopped me in the parking lot and said what I had actually moved forward that day, what I had actually accomplished, I could not have told you. I had touched everything, but I had finished almost nothing that mattered. If you know that feeling, this episode is for you. Not because you are failing, you are not. You are one of the most capable people in any room you walk into. But the reason your best work keeps slipping has nothing to do with your discipline, your commitment, your responsiveness, or your drive. It has everything to do with the way your day is built. Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Miles. I call it the triangle system, 3 parts. It does not ask you for more hours, and once you see it, I promise you cannot unsee how exposed your day has been without it. If you're one of those who bills or leads at the highest level, at the end of the day, you're still unsure where the hours went. Or if you can answer every email and return every call and still feel further behind. Or if your most important work keeps getting done in the cracks, late at night or on weekends, keeping you from your family and the things that really interest you. Or if you've already tried working harder and longer and it never solved the problem. You are not looking for sympathy. You are looking for a better system. By the end of these 20 minutes, you will have the full 3-part daily architecture: pre-work review, focused work, and closure protocol. You will understand why each part fails on its own and why the 3 only work together. And you will have one move you can make tomorrow morning before you open your inbox. Today, you will get the answer to why you work so hard and yet seem to get so little done. So this is the problem. Our day is built around the wrong thing. The problem is never our capability. Lawyers such as you are not short on talent or drive. You pride yourself on being responsive and committed and dedicated. But the problem is the modern legal day is organized around responsiveness, not really around output. And that responsiveness eats everything you let it touch. Your day, like mine, gets organized by whoever reaches us first. The first email, the first call. Whoever touches us first is the one we respond to. And each request by itself feels very small and very reasonable. But together, they wall you off from the very important work that only you can do, and the work that really measures who you are as an attorney. It's what I call the productive reactive trap. Reacting to everything in front of us, and we think that makes us productive. See, touching 20 different things feels like progress. Answering all those emails, responding to every call when it comes in. But motion is not advancement. And the trap is rewarded. When we answer right away, we get gratitude. Our associate thanks us for the quick answer. Our clients appreciate our responding to their email right away. But the cost shows up later. It shows up in the legal memorandum that's a little thinner than it should be. In the strategy session, you never really had a quiet hour to think through. It shows up in the very important work that doesn't get done on time, or doesn't get done well enough. There are 3 conditions that your best work requires: uninterrupted time, a clear target, and a mind not carrying yesterday's loose ends. And the reality is most of our days give us none of those three. And I remember myself, how I'd walk in, I'd sit at my desk, and I would not have a plan. I would do the same thing that 96% of the lawyers who answered my poll on LinkedIn said. The first thing they do in the morning is look at their email. I look at my email, and I start deleting them, storing them, or answering the ones that required a response. That's what I would do. And what would happen then is that a call would come in. Then my associate would have a question. Then another call, then more emails. And by the end of the day, that was all I had done. I had not done anything productive on the work that really, really mattered. And you may say to me, but Gary, I get so many calls. I get so many emails. My system finds a way and a time for you to answer them without interrupting your most important work each time. And this is the thing I want you to remember, this trap. It forms from the very best of you, from your responsiveness, your commitment, your dedication, and not from the worst of you. You're not behind because you're not working hard enough. You're behind because nothing in your day is protecting the work that really matters the most. If I asked you what's the most important thing for you to do tomorrow, you wouldn't say the most important thing is to answer emails. You would have a certain project, answering a motion, drafting an agreement, something of that sort. But that's what gets left behind. So if our day is built wrong, the fix is not more willpower. It's a better structure. I'm going to share with you the one that I learned to use that really works. I call it the triangle system. It has 3 parts, but it's part of one triangular architecture. It's not 3 separate tips you can pick one of. It's one structure with 3 connected sides. Our pre-work review decides what the day is for, what our next project is, and what it involves. Focused work protects the time your best thinking happens. And the closure protocol ends the work on a file and ends the day clean, so tomorrow starts strong. And the 3 sides only work because they work together. That's the whole point. And we will come back to why. The schedule is a symptom, the overworked schedule. But the operating system is the source, and the triangle system is the operating system that works. A system holds when willpower fails, and that's why we purposefully, intentionally build our day instead of just gritting through it, instead of just surviving it, instead of reacting to every little thing. So let's start where the day starts. Before you ever open your inbox. That's right, before you open your inbox. I call this the pre-work review. It's a short, deliberate orientation before you open your email. 5-10 minutes is all it takes. It's not a to-do list. A to-do list is a pile of everything. The pre-work review is a decision. What is the one thing today I want to get done? The one thing I want to get accomplished? The single most important outcome of the day. Not everything I have to do, not all my files, but the one file that's been hanging around so long that I haven't gotten to, or the one that is time sensitive that needs to get done, or the one that is on my most important case that requires the most thought and deliberation. Then you protect the time for that matter before anyone else can claim that time. Protect it as if you were in court, as if you were in a client meeting, and protecting it clears the mental noise. You name what matters, what you have to get done, you park the rest, and your mind stops running background loops about what you might be forgetting. So a sequence is everything. A review done after you've already read 3 urgent emails is not a review. It's not a pre-work review. It's a reaction. Now we're reacting to emails. It's wearing the costume of a plan. The key is that you decide your day before the day decides for you. And once you've decided what the day is for, then you have to defend the time to do it. And that's actually the hardest part and the most important. Part 2 is focused work. It is the protected center of the architecture. It's the reason the other 2 sides exist. And we're going to defend it structurally, not with willpower. Why? Because our willpower is gone by 9:30 in the morning. But a structure doesn't care how you feel. We will decide in advance when our focus work block runs, say from 8:30 to 10. We'll close the door. We won't answer the phone. Our assistant will know not to interrupt us. We'll silence Teams and Slack. We'll treat the boundary the way we would treat any court appearance. You wouldn't check email in the middle of your argument. But this is what happens. Sometimes we start working on that project, and then we look at an email, and it's from that lawyer who annoys us, and we have to answer it. And now we're frustrated and distracted. And we go back to get back to our work, and we forget where we are. What were the exhibits I was thinking about using in response to my arguments on the motion for summary judgment? I call that the reentry tax. Every interruption costs far more than the time of the interruption itself, because you lose your focus. You lose the climb back into the depth of thought that you had already built. A morning of small interruptions doesn't cost you the sum of them. It costs you that depth of analysis and insight that you never reach at all. And this is the key. Nobody is going to clear your morning for you. You build the wall, or no one does. And you may say to me, Gary, I can't do that. I've worked with clients and they do it. They set a focus work block. Everybody in their firm knows that's the deal. They don't look at emails. They don't look at calls. So what happens then when we're finished our focus work block? We handle all the emails together at the same time. We return all the calls at once. Trust me, it really works. So before we get to the third piece of the triangle, let me ask you something and then point you to a tool that will make all this concrete. So here's a question. Do you actually know where your hours go each day? Most of us are sure we do. Most of us are wrong. I built a short diagnostic called the Attorney's Productivity Power Assessment. 20 questions fully scored. It shows you exactly where your day is leaking and which side of the triangle you are missing. It's free at GaryMiles.net, or you can click on the link in the show notes. Take 10 minutes with it before our next episode, and you will hear this whole conversation differently. So the third part of the triangle is the closure protocol. It's the deliberate end of your day that most attorneys skip entirely. It's not the moment you happen to stop. It's a short, intentional close. How's that different than what you do now? Well, if you were like me, I'd work and I'd work. I'd try to get one more thing in. I knew I had to get home to dinner, to my son's game, son or daughter's game. And I'd work, and then I'd run out the door. But instead, having a closure to your day really helps. Capture where each open matter stands. Note the first thing that tomorrow's focus work will tackle. Decide on purpose that the day is done. And I've learned that what you do at the end of the day shapes how good the next one is. A day that simply trails off leaves every loop open, and open loops follow you home. What do I mean? If you don't bring your day to a closure, you'll be thinking of a couple things you didn't get done. And what about this? What about that? Your mind will be distracted. But closure turns that open, anxious loop into a clean stop. And that clean stop is what lets you come back the next morning sharp and focused. It compounds. Tonight's close will feed tomorrow's pre-work review. You will walk in already knowing where the runway is, and that's why it's a triangle and not a line. A clean stop tonight will make your strong start tomorrow. And truthfully, the end of today is where tomorrow is won. So why does it have to be all three? Why not, Gary, can I just pick the one that sounds easiest or best? And this is why all three or none. Each side fails alone. A pre-work review without focused work is just a wish, it's a hope, it's a dream, it's planning theater. It'll never happen. Focused work without a review has no aim or purpose or intention. And closure with nothing built has nothing to close. But together they form a triangle that holds. Remove one side, and you're back to the reactive day you're trying to escape. See, the architecture is the point, not any single piece of it. You don't need 3 new habits. What you need is one structure with 3 sides. So let me show you what it looks like on an ordinary Tuesday when the structure holds. It's the same full day. I walk in. I make a purposeful, intentional decision about what I want to get accomplished that day, that one file I want to move. I create focused time when I work on that, say an hour and a half. No interruptions, no phone calls, no emails, no one popping their head in the door for a quick question. I am not interrupted. And during that hour and a half, I get so much done. I enter my time in the system. I make an entry in the case management system. And I have a sense of accomplishment, of freedom. I didn't spend an extra hour. It was 10 minutes of review, a protected morning block, and then a clean closure at the end of the day. The questions and the calls still come, and I still answer them. It's just they wait until I'm finished my focused work block. The firm doesn't fall apart. The clients are responded to, and the difference is not more hours. It's ownership of the ones you have. And you'll get so much more done in your day. You'll advance your most important work. You will bill more hours. And at the end of the day, you will have one or more than one piece of work you're genuinely proud of. And you know exactly where your time went. One of my clients, Thomas, put this system into place. He's a plaintiff's personal injury attorney, so for him, the issue isn't billing hours because he doesn't bill his time. But he started planning his day, blocking off an hour and a half in the morning to work. His legal assistant knew not to interrupt him. He didn't take calls or emails. And at the end of the day, he reviewed what he had accomplished and closed the day. And he's gotten so much done. He's so much more productive. And he's written a testimonial for my productivity course because it really worked for him. It made the shift. And it made him, in his own words, I want to practice law again. He was ready to quit because he felt like a human punching bag. So it doesn't take more hours. It just takes ownership of the hours you have. Which brings me to the last thing I really want you to take from today. I want to say something to the person who's listening today who's been carrying that trapped feeling for a long time. The feeling that despite everything you've built, you've somehow lost control of your own day. I carried it for years. So hear this clearly. It was never a sign that you lacked anything, not capacity, not drive, not talent. You have all of it in abundance. But what you were missing was a structure that protects what matters from everything that only feels urgent. The handcuffs were never locked. You just couldn't see the key because no one ever handed you the design. The triangle system is that design. The pre-work review decides what your day is for. Focused work protects the thinking that only you can do. The closure protocol hands tomorrow a clean start. Build the day on purpose, protect your time, and the work that defines your practice stops getting crowded out. You did not spend decades becoming this kind of lawyer to just spend your best hours reacting to everyone else. You built something real. You deserve the boundary and the time control over your day. You deserve the right to decide how your day is spent. It is time your day was built to protect your practice and you. If you want to go further than one episode, I would love to talk with you. You can book a complimentary coaching call at GaryMiles.net. No pitch, just a real conversation about what professional freedom looks like for you. Until next time, practice law with purpose and live life with freedom.